We had a client recently that came to us and was excited about their experience, but had also talked to a friend who told them that, they had heard these horror stories about 5-MeO DMT. And her main question was, are they true? And we hear these stories as well. And so I want to talk a little bit about this because I think 5-MeO DMT is a really incredible medicine. I think it has huge potential for transformation, for healing, for awakening. It's the reason why we're so passionate about it, why we're making all of these videos and all of that, and all of the work that we do in the real world as well. But we do hear horror stories, and most typically we hear these stories when people were not given the proper preparation, or they weren't held properly in the ceremony, or they didn't have the proper integration support. "5-MeO DMT can be a very dysregulating medicine. It basically dissolves everything you thought you knew about yourself and about the world, and then you come back all in the course of about 15 or 20 minutes at that highest dose. And you go through this massive physical transformation, and then the mind comes back online and says, what did I miss? And it can be a lot. But sometimes people actually are finding that they have, serious lack of sleep, or they start having, or old trauma gets stirred up, and they start having memories of things that they didn't even know had occurred. They start having really challenging experiences. So here's a few thoughts on all of that. First of all, screening is super important. This medicine is not for everybody. This medicine requires a certain level of pre-work that you've done, whether it's therapy or other psychedelic work or meditation, like deep meditation work, working with a coach, really working to unpack aspects of your psyche, of your personality, of your reality. So I don't think you should come to this medicine if you haven't done serious inner work. And that's one of the things we see, we hear from people having these really challenging experiences because they just get blasted too far. It's too much too quickly. For others, it's like I mentioned before, they weren't given the proper preparation. So I think it's really important that if you're working with a facilitator, and we're exceptionally clear about this with folks we work with, is that this is a very intense process, and you're entering into a process of the unknown. There's a lot that we can't exactly predict what's going to happen on the outside, on the flip side of the experience. And so it's really important that you realize that you're not just signing up for an experience that begins and ends, that it can take multiple months to go through this process of integration, of making sense of the experience, of finding your new normal and finding your new, just where everything lands for you. So good preparation and context is super important, and so make sure you have that before you have this experience. And then the experience itself. Do you have proper facilitation? Is it a private session, or is there a group of people around you? We hear from a lot of people who end up doing 5-MeO in circles, where the facilitator is serving one person at a time, but there's a group of other participants around them. And that can be a really complex or confusing or challenging environment to have such a powerful experience, and that in itself can be traumatizing. Or if there's any sense of distrust with your facilitator, or if you aren't clear on what's actually happening or what the process is, that can be traumatizing all in itself, which can lead to, again, a very challenging integration. And then on the backside, what is your integration strategy? Do you have a coach? Do you have a therapist? Do you have a process that you're going to go through? Do you have daily practices? Are you built, do you have a somatic awareness? All these kind of things are super important when thinking about this medicine. And lastly, I'll just say that some of the horror stories we hear are stories where the person, what we've heard about this person never should have been served 5-MeO DMT in the first place. They just really weren't in a psychologically stable enough place for a psychedelic medicine like this. And so I really encourage you to do your research and understand everything you can about this. And we have a ton of videos on our channel about this, so please come check them out. or come to our website, enfold.org. And we just have so much information. I really encourage you to learn as much as you can, because when done well, this is an incredible medicine, and it's incredibly healing, incredibly transformative. It has so much potential when it's done right. So I hope that's helpful, and we'll see you next time.